You see? Hello.
Yeah, it says live. It says live. We're live. Hello,
We're live.
everyone.
We're live. Yay. I'm Beth Barany, and with me is Gala Russ. And we are both writing teachers, writing coaches, professionals, and it's still live on your side because I see an error
Yep,
on.
it says live, and it says we have 6 people with us. So yeah, we were here.
Yay. Oh, so awesome. So today we've titled
Hi.
our yeah.
I'm answering the comments. We have Phyllis who's saying hi, KA who's saying hi. So Amy's here, Katie Lee is here. Go for it. Vince is here.
Great, great. We got a fabulous question from, I'm not sure if it's the same Amy who's with us.
Yep, it
Yeah.
is.
And Amy was like, my characters talk to me, right, Amy?
Aaron.
Talk to me, interrupting the current story I'm working on. They're interrupting me and want me to write their story. And what do we do? So I have some tips. I'm sure, Gala, you have some tips as well.
Yep.
We both are working novelists. I write sci-fi, sci-fi and fantasy with romantic elements. Gala, you write.
I published everything that I've published is romance, and now I'm in the process of writing an urban fantasy that is super fun and challenging and fun.
So fun, so fun. Awesome. I have 12 books out in 3 different series, and I'm also working on my current work in progress is a fantasy romance adventure. So fun. All right. So here's my first overarching tip, which is expect the chaos. Creativity is a chaotic process. It's by its very nature. So it's normal that other characters and story ideas will come to you as you are working on your story. This is totally normal. It's a feature, not a bug. You are not doing it wrong.
I love that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to clip this one out. Like, this is a feature, not a bug.
Feature, not a bug. Creativity, right? Like picture sparks coming off of a fire. Like you've got your fire pit of your creativity, and sparks are just coming out. That's the nature of this amazing creative phenomena that is so mysterious. So that's my first tip. And I have my second tip is about how to handle those sparks that are flying. But before I go on, do you want to add anything, Gala?
Yeah. I always talk to other writers, and I kid you not, every single one of them has what we call idea bunnies. Like those idea bunnies, like how rabbits like multiply.
Yeah.
This is what happens. And I think this is a sign of a healthy and full creative well. Because when your well dries out, you're going to notice that you're not going to be having all of those creative ideas and everything. And you kind of, like in this desert space. If the creativity bunnies, if the new story bunnies are popping in, I'm going to say that's a good sign. It means that your creative well is full. It means that what you were talking about, like the sparks are flying. And I'm going to totally steal, this is the future, not about, but what I was thinking, like, this is a good sign. I know it still is inconvenient, but it's a good sign to begin with. So I think we're on the same page from slightly different perspectives there. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's a very good sign of a very healthy creativity. Do we have any comments in the chat? And if you want to drop in what you're working on, what is your work in progress about? Go ahead and do that. At the end, we're going to share a little bit about how to work with us, and we go for about 30 minutes. So you'll keep an eye on the chat for us, Gal?
I am keeping an eye on the chat. Yeah.
We have an error. Great. So number 2. You do want to capture the spark without switching projects, ideally, right? You're in the flow. You don't want to like, oh my God, where's my pen? Right? You want to stay in the flow as much as possible. You really want to honor the flow. We're nurturing the flow. We're training ourselves to really pay attention and stay in the groove. So how do you capture your idea without leaving your current work in progress, without leaving your draft? So over the years, I work in like 4 different places sometimes as a writer, creative, and there's nothing wrong with that. I accept it, accept the fact that you might work in a few different mediums. So number 1, I have a journal. And in my physical journal, if this is where I brain dump ideas, everything is permitted, to-do lists, thank you lists, celebration lists, meditations, everything. And those simple to-do lists, like I said. So I might be in a conversation with somebody even, and of course write notes here. But also if I am journaling on one thing and a story idea pops up, I just write it in here. I stay with the medium I'm in. Scrivener. I love Scrivener. I build all my stories in Scrivener, story notes, first drafts, world building, all the things. If I'm in Scrivener and I'm working on one story, but another story pops up, I have a folder that's like other ideas. And I'll just open Scrivener up. I'll use, I think it's called text, right? And I'll create a text and I'll put in my idea and then I put a name on it. Naming is great. Like I used to work at a library. So I have all these inherent understandings of like keywords and everything. So I try and use the juiciest keywords in the title. Usually character driven because I'm very character focused. So that's Scrivener. Word. I'm in Microsoft Word editing. That's where all the edits happen. So I'll just, open a new file, put in the new idea, again, label it the juiciest term I can think of that will help me remember what it is. And then I put it in the master folder called fiction. It's called fiction. Very clear. So every book has a folder, but if I have these random ideas, where do they go? They go into a folder called other ideas, other story ideas. But at first it just lives as a Word doc. There's one other place. Notes. I'm actually writing my current story in notes because it's the most portable. It's on my phone. I have a little portable keyboard, minimalist, like super minimalist, make it super easy. I also have Scrivener on my phone, but I wanted something so easy. It would work even if the Wi-Fi wasn't working. So that story is going in notes. So what do I do if I have another story idea? Here's something that I do. I don't even want to leave the document. I use brackets. Some people use, what's the squiggly one called? Can't remember. That's above brackets on our keyboard, but I just use brackets because brackets doesn't require me to hit the shift key.
Yeah, exactly. I use the square brackets for the same reason because you just hit it.
So easy. Simplest, right? So I put random things in brackets, whether I'm in notes or Word even. Sometimes in Word I'll do it too. But Word, it's really easy to open up a new thing. But I don't even want to leave the document. So I'll just put it in notes. I will say, new idea, blah, 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 or remember this or remember that. So what can you do to stay inside of the tools that you're using? Make notes. And, there's always the handy dandy, I'm trying to get my fat block of Post-its. There's always Post-its, guys, and I have them all over here too. So Post-its.
You're talking about Post-its.
Show us your Post-its, Gal. Oh my gosh, how colorful.
Post-it pile.
Post-it pile. Yeah, I mean, I have here's a Post-it. It says young women and older women military. Okay, I have a scribble here. This is more of a marketing note for myself. I have a little other reminders here. So those are my stay in the document you're in, make it really easy to capture idea, honor your idea, write it down, and find a way to just stay in the flow as much as you can. And while saying yes to the new idea, because you want to always say yes to it. You're yes, yes, and yes, because we're in the flow. We don't want to stop the flow. So we honor all that comes to us. So I have one more on top of this, but how about you? Do you have something to
I have a lot of similar things. Yeah, I'm also a Scrivener worker. I write in Scrivener. I edit usually in Word, or if I'm editing at the same time with somebody like beta readers, and I will do the Google Docs, but with an actual editor in Word. So let me go back. So what I wanted to talk about it. So for me, I do work on multiple projects at the same time frequently. And to me, what it means is I usually treat them as like different stages. So I have an idea stage, I have a planning stage, I have an active draft stage, and I have an editing stage. And between those stages, I tend to have breaks too, because sometimes it flows into the other, but between like the drafting and the editing, I usually have like a couple of week break. And I tend to have like multiple projects at different stages. I call myself also a bread machine writer, which comes from Becca Simi, which means that when I get an idea, it kind of has to sit in my head for months. And then as I get different inputs from different places, that idea is like percolating and growing. And then by the time I get to the planning stage, I'm not like starting from a blank spot. I'm already like, as I was actively drafting something, the other idea was like growing with all the nice juicy yeasts that I'm adding to it as I encounter things, right? So that's how I look at it. So right now I have one project that I'm actually actively drafting, but I'm also like thinking about, for example, because it's a trilogy, I'm thinking about book 2 and book 3, and book 3 is sort of more in that idea. Book 2 now is more in my planning stage, and how I keep track of it. I do not start my Scrivener until I'm in the drafting phase, weirdly enough. Like that's the first time I touch my Scrivener. Before it, I do use notes. And in the notes, I usually have book idea, and I put book idea and then I write in the text what it is. And then I now know I search book idea and I will see all of the book ideas that will pop up. It's like automatic already. If I have a new book idea, I just title it book idea and then whatever. And then I have, whenever I'm in this planning stage, when I have ideas in my head and I want to grow it, I have one very long note in my app and I call whatever is the title of like my this is not going to be the book's name, but the title of this project that I'm working on right now, Urban Fantasy, it's everywhere. It's called Mist Cove. It's not at all the final title, but that's how I labeled it for myself. That's how it started, because weirdly, it started from a location in my head, and that Mist Cove was the location. And so that's the name for it right now. So everywhere in my notes, you're going to see Mist Cove Part 1, Mist Cove Part 2. I think I'm like on Mist Cove Part 6 now, because the note only allows you certain number of words. So I'm just like, and I just add to it. So if I'm sitting there and I'm like seeing something and I'm like, oh, whatever, I go into my Mist Cove part, whatever, and I just like type up whatever information or whatever I noticed or whatever I saw. I'm like, oh, this opening sequence in Breaking Bad is so great. I could totally use that for like chapter 5 of this book. And I go and like do, type it up. So I kind of keep it there. And now when I need to go find it, sometimes like a beautiful sentence come to my mind, I go and write it down. It's not realistically like a full chapter. I go there and I find it there. So I always say write it down. Like it also helps me. It's kind of like with journaling. If I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I have to do this and this and this and this and this. And if I sit down and write myself a list, then I kind of like put it there and the space opens up in my brain for other things. So I usually let myself take note. Also, I will forget. If I think, oh, I will definitely remember, I will definitely forget. So for all of those reasons, I dump it all in those notes, and then I know where to find it when I have the time, and I feel like I'm not forgetting things. And I don't know, it's kind of messy. I feel like you're a lot more organized than me, but that's how I capture all of those disparate things as they pop up. Yet I'm working on a specific project. That was a lot.
That was a lot, but
And we
just to
have
be more
comments
specific,
too.
you have
Oh,
comments.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, you're doing this inside of Scrivener 100%, or Scrivener and like the notes program on your phone? Like
The notes
where
program is where the book ideas always live, and where I capture the random things as they go. In
Mhm.
Scrivener, I afterwards basically take it and place it. Once I start on my first draft, that's where I write all of my first drafts. And that's where I go into all my notes for that book and I take it and I basically copy paste. And I have this long raggedy documents that are like a complete stream of consciousness and chunks of different thoughts that I
Mhm.
have in Scrivener just so that I don't lose it down the road. And Scrivener has a very good search feature, so it's easy.
Yeah, it does. That's great. That's great. So, what comments do we have?
I use so Phyllis, I use OneNote to grab those ideas, including potential titles, story ideas, etc. Yeah, my co-author
Mhm.
loves OneNote. I could never mash
Mhm.
with OneNote. I feel like it's
Another-
too many clicks for me to get to a certain point. That's why I think I like the note is just like there's you get in, you click note, and you going there. But I think
Mhm.
whatever works, it doesn't matter. All of it is good. Just really does not matter.
Yeah.
And Karen is saying I always write in a notebook before I transfer to the computer. Yeah, longhand.
Mhm.
Or
Great.
I must write those ideas down. I've not done that yet for any future books. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
write it down.
Write it down. Write
Awesome.
it down. I love what you were saying about the bread machine writing. I tend to think of it as cooking as well. Like the ideas are sitting on the back burner, kind of bubbling away. And every once in a while I stir and throw in some spice or whatever, a vegetable.
That's a good metaphor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the cooking metaphors as well. I'm not familiar with bread making, really, not just from afar. But for me, cooking soups, was all the time growing up. So yeah, we both are using like a food metaphor. And I think creativity is like food. You do want to put your attention on it. You do want to stir the pot, and write those ideas down. So something to consider, there's metacognition is thinking about thinking. So as writers, we have to apply kind of this high level, how do we want to approach our creativity? How do we want to approach our process? And so my main message is, yes, we can have multiple projects on the go at the same time. I do as well. I have an edit project. I have the novel, the first draft. I also have lots of nonfiction projects, the podcast, the premium channel, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and the other things, the film, the business. Running a business is a very creative endeavor, of which there are like 3 wings now. But we can only do one thing at a time. And this was my big message that I got when I was in my turning 30. I'm entering my second Saturn return. So this was like in my first Saturn return, is really learning how to focus and honor the choice right in front of me, that I have made this choice, and to be really, truly committed to that choice. Yeah. Yeah, you feel that?
Yeah.
And so something that I often ask myself is, what is priority right now, right this minute? And that gets my 100%. And when the other ideas come, when the sparks are flying off of the fire, I say, yes, thank you. These little precious sparks. And I put them here, like in a little nurturing space, like a little tiny bit of, it's like putting it in with tinder, with a little bit of moss or whatever. I'm thinking of ancient, our ancestors, how they would capture and hold their fire and have flint sticks and, okay. So that's what we're doing, but we're also just focused on what's right in front of us. So we can even ask ourselves, when a new idea pops, you're like, ooh, that's so awesome. But I'm right here. I'm focused on this. So what do I want to do, Beth? I talk to myself, what do I want to do? Is it this or is it this? Let's decide. Or sometimes it's like, well, let's be in the nothing moment and not decide. And that's okay too. We really need to have space too, to not have to make a decision. But if we are literally working on a book and the new ideas come, story ideas, characters, we say, yes, thank you. Let them rest and come back to what's priority. But it's also an opportunity to say, well, what is my choice right now? We get to choose again and again. And every time we choose, we are laying down those grooves in our brain where we're like strengthening commitment to the thing that's right in front of us, that we've already made the decision, but we're getting an opportunity to make the decision again, which is a beautiful thing because we're strengthening our commitment. So that's the metaphysical metacognition. It's actually not metaphysical. It's metacognition. It's thinking about thinking. It's thinking about your creative process. It's allowing the sort of, I've been thinking a lot about myself as a creative director. It's allowing your own internal creative director to say, okay, everyone, let's reconvene. That was really fun. Okay, let's come back to now.
After the break, it reminds me, I'm teaching the teen intensive right now, and I'm like, okay, you have your 10-minute break. You need to be back at 2:37, and they come back at 2:37, and they're in their seat, but they're still in their discussion, and they're like, ooh, and this, and I'm like, okay, class, let's take a deep breath. We're coming back. This is what we're going to be focusing on. This is where's attention. We're talking about dialogue today. And it takes like a second to transition into it and to rechannel their energy. And yeah, I think we basically are doing that for ourselves in this way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And some people, they talk about it as executive functioning. I find that a little too confining personally. It's creative director. You get to be the creative director of all your creative projects. So you get to say, okay, those are all awesome. All right, come back to now and let's focus. This is what we're doing right now. Yeah. So I'm just taking a quick look at my notes. Yeah. And of course, things are going to evolve. And I give myself total permission to change my mind. I give you all total permission to change your mind. and to really check in with yourself. What is the commitment right now? Where do I want to put my amazing energy and creativity and life force right now? And you get to decide. And that's a beautiful thing. So
Yeah. Yeah. I also, okay, this might sound harsh for prefacing that with that. I feel like some projects you need to know when to give up. So I kind of want to give people permission to actually not finish certain projects ever, or
sure.
not right now, because
Mhm.
I keep going back to the sunk cost fallacy, because at some point, sometimes we're like, well, I finished this story, for example, and I'm querying it, and then everybody said no, and I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to rewrite it again, and I'm querying it again, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to rewrite it again. And it's hard to decide when, and it's a difficult thing. Quitting something is not always as easy as you think, right? But sometimes there's the opposite side of, how long do I continue? Do I follow this new idea, or do I continue with this other thing that I've been invested for years into? And there's a cool book that I really liked. It's called Quit, and I totally do not remember the author, but it actually is that sometimes it is okay to quit the thing, or to put it on pause. Sometimes you're no longer aligned with it. Sometimes it's draining your energy more than it is giving you energy. And I still have 4 books that I have started personally, and 2 books that I started with my co-author, that are, well, technically like 4 books and 2 books and one novella, that are shelved, that for one reason or another could no longer be the projects that I was working on
Yeah.
actively at that time. And then it felt so sad. Like, it felt so
Mhm.
sad and so traumatic. And it's just like ripping out my soul. But now, coming, being where I am, having that hindsight opportunity, I'm like, those were the right decisions. Like,
Yeah.
I needed to make that change. I needed to make that choice that was actually propelling me forward into the next stage of my development, into the next stage of my career. And I would have been more stuck if I would have stayed with that project. So I just want to also to put that thought into your mind, that that is also a possibility.
Yeah.
It is a thing in life, that sunk cost fallacy basically means if you've been putting all of that money and time into something, it doesn't mean that you have to continue. At some point, you are just wasting your time and money, or you basically put the bad money after the bad money, whatever the expression is, right? Like,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And another way to look at that, I love that, is where is your energy really wanting to go? That's a prompt I ask myself often. Where is my attention wanting to go? Where is my energy wanting to go? And I too, I mean, the reason I started a new story at the beginning of this year is that I was very slowly, I had put I was trying to edit a novel that has been edited quite a lot. And then it shifted directions. And I realized, oh, it's going to require a lot more work. And I just didn't have the energy for that, the bandwidth. It requires this like deeper, this ability to sink deeper more often. And I'm like, no, but I'm putting that kind of deep energy, deep thought into other things right now that are priority. So again, a priority is going on here. And I realized though, but I needed to do something really fun. And that's why I started a new story, because it was fun. And that other story, I am thinking about it and percolating on it and daydreaming about it. And I purposely, I'm not letting that project go, but it may take me a few years to get back to it. And that's okay.
yeah,
Um, and
yeah.
so I want to let people know how they can stay
I
in touch
had a
with us.
couple of comments, if you
Yes,
don't mind, before we move on
yes,
in there, just because people are actually commenting, and I want to make sure that
please.
we capture it. Okay, Phyllis is saying bullet points are my go-to in order to capture ideas. I put them in a master doc. Phyllis is also saying maybe putting something aside for months or even years might mean when you bring it back out, it might be more in tune with the market and find more receptive hearing by the agents or publishers. And then Thar B-Man, it's not the right time for those projects. Yeah, And it's so hard sometimes to recognize that. And there is a difference between, oh, I'm just bored, or this is hard and I want to go and play in the fun idea stage, versus I need to be doing the hard work of drafting or editing. I feel like there's a very different energy. And if you listen to yourself, like journal or talk to somebody, usually are able to give yourself an answer. No, this is just not the right time, versus, no, I'm just tired, Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I love that. I love those comments. Thank you so much. Yeah, so Gala, there's two things I want you to mention. One, that you are also doing, that you have a Substack and you're doing your own lives and looking for people to talk to and interview, right?
Yeah.
At writing,
Writing
at
conversations.
writing conversations, but also your name at Gala Russ author.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, I'm everywhere as Gala Russ author. I just made it easier. But I used to do an Instagram live series for like a couple of years, and then Instagram changed the rules, and now for another person to participate, they have to have at least 1,000 followers. And like a lot of people I talk to don't have 1,000 followers, so I'm like, Instagram, you're losing a person who's going to do live. So that's one of the big reasons why I came to Substack, is because Substack does not have that requirement. It's a lot easier. You can just go live with people. And I really created that space, writing conversations, because there's so much wisdom that people have in the writing community, and everybody's so willing to share. And I have so many random connections. So I usually try to say, oh, if you have any particular expertise in writing, or even if you're a writer and you're struggling with something and you want to just like hang out with me for, mine are like an hour, because I'm just a long-winded person. And come and hang out with me for an hour and we talk. What are your struggles? Because a lot of people like seeing that they're not alone, that other people are having the same struggles. Or right now, I have some experts. I'm talking to Romy about K dramas. I'm talking to Maddie about serializing a novel on Substack. I'm talking in the beginning of July to Amanda, who is a screenwriter, and I'm like really, really in love with screenwriting. So it's going to be more experts. If you also know some people, I'm going to try and get Inez Johnson, who's also both screenwriter and romance writer. I'm going to reach out to her. She's like somebody I really aspire to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, those are always conversations. Like I have interviews with people and we chat about a specific topics, and this is all writing related, but all over the place. So come check that out.
Yep, come check that out. Also, Gala, you have a writing class coming up. That's starting, and it's tell us, deep dive writing. It's going to be
Deep dive.
crafted.
Yeah, I'm starting my final offering for the summer. I'm not going to start any more new classes in the summer. I've told myself I have too much going on. It is called a Write Your Novel Deep Dive. It begins this Thursday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. That one is a 2-hour class. It is has 8 sessions throughout the summer, so it's not every single week. We're gonna deep dive. That's a craft class. Like if you're a craft nerd and if you want to go and learn something neat and writing craft related, and try to apply it to your own story or editing, that is what it is. We're gonna cover some editing there and just general story craft. I have, I think, 2 spots left only, so it's pretty full. I'm hoping to be full by Thursday. We'll see where we get there.
So,
And it is kind of late, but yeah.
how do people sign up? Do they just reach out to you?
You can go to galarusauthor.com/write your novel. I think if you go to galarusauthor.com, I think I have it on my first page too. A link to subscribe to
That's
get
great.
there.
So everyone check that out if you want to take this craft class with Gala for fiction writers. Deep dive, nerd out, improve your writing. Awesome. And my offer to you is check out, if you would like support, if you're a science fiction and fantasy writer and you would like support with your editing, check out my Edit Your Novel Checklist.com, edityournovelchecklist.com. Get the free checklist. You're going to learn about my edit lab, where we live edit with you once a month. Gala's in it and Phyllis is in it.
I love it.
I'm not sure who else is here because I can't see the chat. And we do live edits. You send me 200 words. We'll live edit together. We'll take questions. Right now, that's $5 a month until the end of this month. So sign up, because I'm moving the price up to $40 because I am worth it. And I've been in the biz for 20 years. I'm about to say 40 years. No, that would mean I started when I was like 18, which, well, I've been writing since I was a kid. So, but but not, I started writing, actually, I started writing tutoring when I was 19. I was in college and I worked at the tutor center. So I've been helping writers for a really, really long time because I love it. I'm passionate about it. Yeah. So sign up for the edityournovelchecklist.com to get news about joining the lab. Or if you just are ambitious and you want to check out how to get into our premium, this is my premium channel. Also, we drop about weekly. I drop you a special premium audio just for you guys. And if you go to howtowritethefuture.buzzsprout.com, because Buzzsprout is my distributor, you'll see the information on the premium Edit the Future Sci-Fi Fantasy Revision Lab, or Edit Lab
It's
for
great.
short. It's so much
It's
fun. I really love it. It's a great place to start. I do work with people one-on-one, but I only have a few slots of those right now. You got to talk to me directly. We got to talk, see if that's a good fit for you. I think that's pretty much it. We're going to be here next week with a new topic. If you have a question you want us to answer, like we did this week for Amy, thank you so much, Amy, for your question. That was awesome. I love it. We have lots of things to talk about. We are also going to be opening up a new channel where we get to talk about being creative entrepreneurs. If you're a creative writer who wants to serve other creative writers like we do as coaches and editors and strategists, so keep an eye out for that, because we're also doing that at some point soon.
But yeah, send us your questions. We love answering questions. And I think one of the thoughts we had was that we will finish June with more craft and writing related questions. And maybe in July, we've kind of had several marketing related questions and like author identity, author brand. So I think right now our thinking is July is going to be a little bit more author branding, author identity, marketing types of things. So if you have questions for that for July, send that to us as well. And we'll start preparing.
Yeah. And one of the questions I got from one of my friends is how to set up your own Substack. So we're still in early days. I feel like I'm still learning Substack, but I think I have a lot to say. I think Substack has got a lot going for it. So it's a really, and you've been talking to Maddie about serialization, and yeah, so a lot of great things in the hopper. Everyone have a great day. Happy writing, happy playing with your creative sparks. In fact, that's the name of my newsletter for now 20 years, Creativity Sparks. I love that metaphor so much. And yeah, go and enjoy the beautiful day. And thank you so much for showing up. Bye.
Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
Bye. All right. Can you turn us off? Because
yes, I think so. Let me try.
Yay.